Welcome back to Citispell. Just on my way home from work, I figured I'd touch on that whole trucker strike. Well, what are the chances of them boycotting or striking New York? Well, there will be a few. I'm a former driver. There'll be a few that do it, just like the few that went to Texas. But the thing that the general population needs to understand is that the truck drivers are just a reflection of society. If we can't all get along, they don't all get along. And you're going to have okay, let's say that a bunch of drivers decide to boycott and strike and not go into or deliver to New York City. Well, it's just more loads for the ones that will. There's no shortage of the dirty shirt, flip-flop wearing, Adidas wearing, how shall we say, drivers that have not been here in this country for longer than 5 years. There's enough of them drivers. They'll come creeping, crawling out of Chicago and East St. Louis and Cleveland, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, and New York City itself, Maryland. They'll come running for them loads. And anymore with the way that trucking companies are, whether it be Schneider or U.S. Express or Swift, not so Swift, these larger name companies, Walmart, they're going to continue to deliver. And you're going to say, Citispell, don't they have a choice? Oh, sure, everybody's got a choice. You have a choice, I have a choice not to do my job. But are you willing to pay the consequences? If I don't do my job, the job doesn't not get done. Somebody else would do the job. Again, largest trucking company in the country, Walmart, they'll just move some of their equipment around and make things happen. And you're going to have some independent contractors that they will deliver the goods because they agree with New York. It's a micro amount of truck drivers that are not going to deliver to New York City. Of course, you're going to get a lot of the super truck drivers that all they do is hold the steering wheel and drive out west and drop a trailer, pick a trailer up and drive back east, and drop a trailer and pick up a trailer and drive back west. They're going to get on there whether it be TikTok or YouTube or Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it now, as well as on the CB radio, and that's jacked way up, and they're going to talk about how they're not going to do any of that. They're not going to make any deliveries to New York. Well, that's probably because you never have, and you've probably done it once and realized what kind of a pain it is to deliver to New York City, and you haven't delivered to New York City in years. And you don't on the regular. So this is also another opportunity for the train system. Okay, let's say the trucks don't deliver. Well, there's a lot of drivers that live in and near New York City. Intermodal drivers, things like that. And they're going to just go to the rail yard and get the container and take it to where it needs to go. So I'm not against the idea of a strike against what can be perceived as inequality. And this isn't a pro-Trump or a anti-Trump or a pro-Biden or any of that. This is just what's right and wrong. So, back to the truckers. It'll sound cool. In fact, I still have my CDL. And I tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to deliver to New York City. Of course, the last time I've delivered to New York City was about 20 years ago. But I'm not going to do it anymore. I'll show them. But good luck. If the least thing it does, if the least amount of positivity that comes out of it is that people sit up and take notice and maybe start to think about making changes or the way they govern or the way they legislate, well, good. I'm all for it. But again, it's not going to be as drastic as some of the super truckers are talking about. Although, just the thought of trucks not delivering goods, food, medical supplies, and gasoline, and things of that nature, your Starbucks, that'll make people panic. So more importantly than who's not delivering what, or how many aren't delivering to New York City, if I was in New York State or New York City, I personally would go to the store and stock up. I'm not going to say there is going to be a run on food, but human nature. I'm not going to say there's going to be a major issue or a bunch of panic, but human nature, history tells us that people are going to do just that. So, while it's kind of just being talked about and actually laughed about from some of the more liberal pundits or left-leaning individuals in the state of New York and the city, the average Joe may start to panic and then tell his friends, and then they're going to panic, and then you have a run on the banks, a run on the stores, a run on gasoline. So if I were in New York, first off, you couldn't pay me to live in New York City. I'm not a city person. But if I did live in New York City or the state of New York, I would just do like we should have been doing all along and stock up on a couple cans of gasoline, some food. I know it sounds funny, but even so far as maybe some water purification, filters or otherwise. But anyways, just a thought. But unless something directly affects all trucking, where it's threatening to take food out of the truck drivers' families' mouths, you're not going to see a consolidated effort. Not going to happen. Like I said, it's a reflection of society, just like the military. You have Democrat, Independent, Republican in the military, and you have Democrat, Independent, and Republican that drive truck or any line of business. So, just my thought. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and thumbs up, thumbs down. And keep the painted side up there, super drivers. Thanks for sitting a spell.